why Pixar cut Elio's LGBTQ themes. There is a story from Variety. Let me share it. I think you have notes, Badger. And Alan, you have some insight into this.
Yes.
I'd like to hear. So, Badger, if you would.
The controversy surrounding Elio sits squarely in the ongoing cultural and political debate over LGBTQ representation in family entertainment, particularly at Disney and its animation arm Pixar. According to Pete Docter, the studio removed elements suggesting the main character might be gay after the film tested poorly with audiences. He framed the decision as an attempt to keep the movie aligned with what families expect from a children's film. We're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy. Docter also said Pixar did not want to introduce topics with that young viewers may not be ready to process without conversations with their parents. Some critics and employees interpreted the change as a retreat from inclusive storytelling, especially because earlier versions of the film reportedly included scenes hinting that Elio had a male crush. The movie also came amid other controversy when Disney removed a transgender character from Pixar's series Win or Lose, intensifying criticisms from those who believe the studio is pulling back from LGBTQ representation under political pressure. With Pixar, the changes reportedly sparked internal backlash among staff, highlighting tensions between creative teams and corporate leadership over representation. Others argue the decision reflects market realities and audience expectations, especially for a family-oriented brand. The film's weak test screenings suggested audiences were not strongly connected with the earlier version of the story. From this perspective, the overhaul of Elio was less about ideology and more about trying to salvage a film that audiences weren't responding to. Because of Disney's massive influence over family entertainment, decisions like the Elio changes often become symbolic battlegrounds in wider cultural debates about representation, parenting, and media aimed at children.
By the way, this relates to what we were talking about. You can make a gay Pixar movie. Make it for a small amount of money. Again, what's proving out with these numbers is there is a market. It's small. Scale your budget to that audience. So if it's you're saying Elio, I mean, that was Pixar's, I think, worst movie according to Alan Ng from Film Threat.
Mm-hmm.
You could confirm that.
Is it still?
I mean, look, let's go back. Let's go back a couple movies. Toy Story 4. Excuse me. Toy Story 4, Two Mommies. Lightyear, first lesbian kiss. Jumping over to Disney, you have Strange World with a gay teen romance. And I think they saw the writing on the wall. And to Pete Docter's credit, Inside Out 2, the main character was supposed to have a lesbian crush. Cut it out. It cut out everything that was even remotely hinted at the main character being gay. You have Elio here. Same thing. To his credit, he cut it all out. The problem is it was a gay movie, period. And just because you turn everything straight, you still have a gay story, kind of. And let's see, what was the last one? And Hopper's main character was originally lesbian, and that had been confirmed to me as well. So we'll see what happens with Toy Story 6, Toy Story 5, to see whether Pete Docter, having cleared the slate of the DEI that infected Pixar, see what kind of movie he makes out of that.
I think the things that made headlines when it came to these movies were what you just said, like all the gay couple, the gay women in there's also like a gay women in Finding Dory as well. And those are the things that like make headlines. And I think that because those things make headlines, there's such backlash when it comes from parents not wanting to expose their kids to that stuff and take their kids, and we no longer want to support Disney because all of that was making headlines. So let's shift the studio. Let's take out that because it's being rejected by the audience. They have to. Otherwise, they're not going to make money in the long run. If you don't have the trust of families when you're making movies for families, then you'll lose a lot of money, because family movies make a lot of money. They make a ton of money. And so you're going to, when you lose the support of families and families stop going to your movies, which is what ended up happening, then you're at risk of losing a lot of money, and they can't do that. And you said Inside Out 2. Yeah, Inside Out 2, they removed all that stuff, and they had I think it was like an insider, someone from that was let go from Disney or something, who came out and they were just like, yeah, they got rid of us. They got rid of our the gay themes in Inside Out 2. And so now we're never going to get that type of messaging ever again. And it's like, you know what? That's good, because it's not up to you to share those things in the movie. You just make family friendly entertainment, and it's up to the parents with what they want to expose their kids to. So by putting it all in children's movies, I think Turning Red was also another movie that made headlines.
It was that one was a little hidden, but you can make inferences. Onward had the first lesbian character. One of the cops was lesbian. Elemental had a side character that was gay, but to Elemental's credit, it was a true teen romance and played out that way. And so I think the audience was able to handle that, because it wasn't meant for kids; it was meant for teens. So the history had been there. And again, to Pete Docter's credit, to remove it, to understand it, to potentially piss off all of his employees, he made the tough decision, and he made the right decision.
That line that he said of "we're here making movies, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy," that's what we've been getting. The Acolyte was $300 million of Leslie Headland's therapy about her fucking sister.
Absolutely.
Like, literally.
Absolutely. It was us sitting on the couch with her, right, listening to all of that crap.
That was the major complaint that everyone gave for 10 years. Is like, you are starting conversations about things that parents should be able to explain. Now, they tried to frame it like, well, that's like explaining segregation and racism. It just is the real. No. Leave children alone.
Yep.
In the children's movies, like, again, Snoop Dogg, right? Snoop Dogg. It came out, and he was, his outrage was what everybody felt, which is why I don't think he should have apologized or anything. But I'm just here to watch a movie with my little grandson, and I don't want to get into a conversation about why is this woman kissing this woman, and that's not for children's movies.
What's non-binary?
It's funny you bring up the racism. My daughter, when she first started going to school, her school is fairly diverse: Black, Hispanic, Asian, white, and she made a whole bunch of friends who were Black, Hispanic, Asian, white. And I didn't have the heart to tell her what racism was. Part of me was just like, just have your friends and have fun, and when you get older, I'll ruin it all for you. But at this moment in life, on your TV, everyone's diverse on TV, everyone's diverse in your school. Just enjoy, have fun, and make friends.
I've argued this. Real quick. Sorry, DA. I've argued this for years. I think that you gotta scale the budget to the audience. The market is small. Create a spin-off brand at Disney called Disney Sparkle. Do gay programming, gay merch, make it super, everything is gay, and see how well it does financially. Then parents and consumers can make the choice whether they want to support a spin-off brand. Sorry, DA.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. I think you got to keep that separate from your main line, like Pixar. But that's not what the activists want, Chris. The activists want to be a part of the big show. Okay. They want to be mainline, mainstream. They don't want to be an offshoot or some sort of subset of Hollywood. They want to be just as part. Yeah, niche. They don't want to be niche. They want it to be mainstream, just like everything else. So as much as I agree, you can trial run it and see what happens. They're not going to go for it because you're just shoving us in the corner and you're calling us weird and different. And it's like, because you are. I'm just being honest, man. You're not.
That's what queer means.
Yeah. This is the mainstream, and the main line is the norm, the cultural norms. And that's what Disney and all of these studios should be trying to play to 90% of the time. The cultural norm of the country. All right. When something's out of pocket, a little different. Okay, you can still do it. But just understand, you got to scale it properly. It can't have a big budget, all right? And it's going to be niche, and not a lot of people are going to show up for it. But if you care about it that much, sure, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, to your point, Chris. Guess what the total budget of Pillion was?
What?
It was $1 million.
See, that's
Really?
perfect. And that movie will make money. There
Yeah.
is a market for Pillion. It's a gay romance with
It's a BDSM biker.
BDSM biker gay romance with Dudley from Harry Potter, a skinny Dudley, and what's his name? Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, yeah.
One of
Yeah,
the Skarsgård.
not Skarsgård, but Skarsgård. Yes.
Yes. So, and that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
what I've been going to
Yeah.
Sundance since the mid 90s. I always saw those fringe movies were there, and they opened in New York and LA, and they did well on a small scale. That's the extent of the reach. And that's a market. Fine. Scale to the market.
Yeah, the original
Yeah.
director for Elio, could make a movie like that. Like the original director for Elio quit because they took out
Yeah.
all of the gay.
Well, they fired him. Oh no,
gay
they transferred him to Coco 2.
Oh
There's
Lord,
a
no!
Coco 2
Yeah.
that's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the first
Oh.
Coco's so good.
I know. You could have
Coco's
let him
fantastic.
direct Coco one.
I
The
thought
last
yeah.
great Pixar movie is.
But I
is
thought it
Coco.
came out like in Hollywood Reporter that he got really
Yeah.
upset when they took out that, and so he left. The
Yeah, I
project.
read the same stories. He was upset that that they were doing what they did to it, and that I think that's when they transferred him to Coco to kind of smooth things over.
Yeah.
See, they're not going to understand. They don't understand that we have to make money here. All right. This is still a
Yeah.
business, and we can't, put out $200 million, I forgot what Elio cost, but I mean, it was up there. It wasn't cheap. You can't put this kind of a movie out and expect people to flock into it. And, because of the themes, so you got to scale it properly. We just got through talking about this with The Bride. You got to scale it properly. You can't spend $90 million on this thing. It's ridiculous to think that you're going to make money off of some kind of niche, movie. But
pay your way into mainstream.
we just saw the interview with Maggie Gyllenhaal. They've been marginalizing women for so long. This is what they want. They want to be a part of the mainstream, but they don't want to play by the mainstream rules. They want to do what they want to do. And then when it bombs in the box office, it's misogyny. Like that's what happens, man. And or in this case, it's homophobia or whatever they want to say. It's not. It's regular normal audiences do not want the political messaging in their children's entertainment. Period, point blank.